So we're back with Mr. Skander here, our co-host.
Oh yeah.
Glad to have you back.
Always a pleasure.
What happened since we last seen each other here? Because we talk not on a daily basis, but...
Yeah, we pretend to be friends outside of the podcast.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah. I mean, you've been to a very cool seminar. You traveled abroad.
Yeah.
To meet one of your...
And this is how you switched it? Like, I give you a question and you just... the Uno card, the revert one, and you just...
Yeah. I mean, it was quite exciting for you.
Yeah.
You came back quite energized. You wanted to tell me about it. You're extremely excited. It's rare to see you excited about something. It was one of those. So why don't you tell other people about it the way you told me about it?
Probably I started with some... It was hard. It's one of those experiences in which it's even hard to put them properly out there because it's so overwhelming in a way, so that it's really hard to explain in words how you felt and what was it about. And now that's probably the weird thing, because somebody, if he's listening or she's listening, they're probably thinking about a fitness event or something. Mm-hmm. And but same time, if you want to Google the guy, he's Pat Davidson, and the guy's literally somehow like a legend in the industry. Like, he's been here for a long while. He's built his reputation. He has his good model to work around. Like, he's one of the good guys, so to say, and he has quite a legacy. And for somebody like me, who is very young in this industry, to get to meet the guy, and we're actually now best friends. But we actually literally trained with the guy, like just me and Seba. And we got to train with him. We did chest and abs. Yeah, chest and abs. That was like unreal, basically. And following with the whole education to days, which just to analyze everything from a speaker point, from the way that information was delivered, from all the emotion that he brought with the whole seminar. It wasn't just, okay, like, this is how we work. No. It was like a whole experience, so to say. Meeting the other people that were also cool. It's one of those things that each time I do it, like, spend towards my education and get out of my comfort zones in a direction in which I think maybe, is it going to be worth it? And each time it's like 3 times worth it or something like that. It's very, very interesting.
You mentioned something interesting when we met, you told me about it. You said it was old information revised and new information that kind of got me excited. Then I'm back and I kind of don't know what to do with it. It's not like you have no idea what to do with it, but I feel like there is a trap sometimes when you acquire a new set of information. You want to take it and carry it with everything else, right? Like, you learned how to perform a certain exercise for whatever division of a muscle, or to create a new adaptation, whatever. And now all your model is based on that new thing, and you completely forget about all the other foundation and fundamentals you acquired over time, and that becomes your hammer. Everything is that new thing. But you kind of let it settle down. It's like, eventually I will use it. I will need it. Now we'll let it settle in and absorb it in a way, and then will come a time and a frame to use it. So I want you to actually talk about that.
Yeah, I can use even, for example, the late prescript course that I actually need to finish. Because, for example, Jordan mentioned, talking about also like expansion, about expansion and everything that goes into this, like, how do we brief stuff. And he was like, look, guys, you are not going to go in the gym floor and from now on you're going to use only this. No, this is just another layer to add to your filter. And you keep doing the stuff that you did before. Just think of this too now when you make decisions on the floor. And that could take a month, that could take a year. Like, just let it sink. And mostly, yes, I would say that it is... That's what odd for me when people like go and learn something and they pretend to learn it and they come back and they're like, yes, I got this new methodology of like, And for me, it was like, okay, even sitting at the seminar, I would understand the information that he would transmit me and all the other people in the room. But it would be pretty hard for me to form questions because in my head there were like pieces of the puzzle that would join, but then I'd see a missing spot and then I'd somehow have a vague idea of what could go there, and I wouldn't like to just ask without analyzing it first, and then it could go there or not. And it's a whole mental process in which you somehow try to digest all the information that comes towards you, and then are thinking, okay, like we got all this like new stuff. I have, let's say, I don't know, Radu. We both know Radu. How do I apply this to Radu? And I'm like, okay, can I apply it straightforward and make his biceps bigger? Probably nothing that I didn't already know. That I did, yeah. Probably it's gonna be nothing new. But when you think of stuff that's a bit deeper, and okay, how can we bias something? How can we make something a bit more efficient? Why does that happen? Why there is a problem that arises? Then you can start making links, and your mind actually works together and does the thing what the mind is supposed to do.
Yeah. Just to frame what we are talking about in a way.
Yeah, you need to make it more.
Yes. I think this parallel translates in so many fields, from medicine to being a trainer to maybe probably an engineer or a software engineer or whatever. It's like by acquiring this new information, absorbing, then understanding how to think about things, you create this hierarchy of intervention. It's like you presented with an issue. Someone has, let's say, pain, discomfort, they don't like doing a certain motion or movement, whatever. You're trying to solve the problem faster and get to the actual root cause as fast as you can. It doesn't mean like the first intervention would be the one that works, but the first intervention will be the one that gets you to the right one the fastest. That's pretty much why you go through continuing education or a new course or whatever. People have different models. You pick and choose, you accumulate, and then when you're presented with a case, then you kind of know which one you need to use to get to the actual goal. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it's superimposing principles one upon the other. And it's literally because I remember when I was like, even in like high school, and my first education would be YouTube and influencers, and like I'd find, I don't know, like Steve Cook, and I'd digest everything that he has on YouTube, and I'd be like, okay, now I have everything about this guy, and I would try it in the gym too. I'm done with him. Okay, next one. And so, okay, this is like a more amateur approach, but it's just easy to understand how, okay, you find this person, you copy everything that he or she does, you try everything, you see how that works, and you go to the next one. But you don't just dismiss the previous one, you keep the concepts that you liked from there or that you've seen that worked, and you just, okay, now let's go to the next one. And it's literally what you said, like just taking something from every source and just making a big...
Yeah. And if we have anyone new in the field listening, sometimes, we all copy to a degree, right? There is actually a very interesting book called Still Like an Artist, and it speaks about all the individuals that we think innovated in any field, comedians, musicians, you name it. They start by copying a specific individual. They get obsessed with what they do, and they do exact same thing. However, once they get stuck and they can no longer copy, that's where their identity shine, pretty much. So in the beginning, you might pick on an influencer or an educator or a person in your own gym, and you just copy them. You copy the way they do things. You copy the way they eat, And then over time is actual transition to knowing more, And then once you run out of copying, that's how you find your own thing, And I think it's a valuable thing. We see people copying all the time, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing necessarily. It's just, how things flow naturally, pretty much.
Low-key, if nobody copies you, you probably do not that well at your... at your craft. But that's not necessarily true, but it could be. So you mentioned no, actually, this is actually just to give context to the listeners or viewers. Usually, I prep like a very well-defined structure. With Sky, it's already like I literally have ideas here, so it could go literally in any direction. So it could be fitness, it could be like comedy. So get excited.
Yeah.
You mentioned books, and I can say that I made progress, and I actually started listening to books, and that works. That literally works, because I tried reading and it went okay, but I didn't get to read too much, and it's nice, the fact that I get to read daily, but I don't get to consume the information that I want to as fast as I want to. And with listening to books, especially if you think about it first and you're like, go through the resume and you actually check if the book is somehow easy to listen to, it's really, really efficient to do it. And I have here like more ideas from...
Yeah, I was about to ask, when you probably take a bunch of notes.
Yeah. So we could start with this one is from the last one, from Waking Up by Sam Harris. And it's really nice because it goes into the whole... even it's very gym relatable, because it is your mind rather than the circumstances themselves that determines the quality of your life. And literally, pain is subjective, pain during working out versus in another context. Because if your quads would start burning right now, that would be probably a red flag, because they shouldn't. But if you feel the same thing during the workout, you're good. And this is where it clicks, because most people associate any kind of mental or physical discomfort with like straight, okay, we need to stop, don't go more in that direction. And then when we transit back to the gym, it's actually when you start counting your reps, as somebody would say. So it's really interesting to put it that way, and just to switch your perspective over feelings and over the way that your body actually gives, I don't know, like signals to you, because we might interpret them wrong, actually.
Yeah. It's like, imagine you willingly show up in a box place, which is a gym, and willingly put yourself through a degree of pain that odd enough over time you come to enjoy it. It becomes who you are pretty much. When the first thing was like, it's like, sucks. It's like, what happened? Because it sucked then and it sucks now still. Because that's the thing about working out. You're chasing this suckiness of every exercise over and over again. And you're trying to make it harder and harder and harder. Hopefully your recovery improves. But it's still the same concept. It hurt day 1 and it's hurting day 365. What changed? Is what you're talking about.
It's literally how people ask, hey, why isn't this exercise getting any easier? And I'm like, it is. I'm just, if you actually observed, each time it got easier, I gave you another weight or I gave you more reps. So if we would have kept the 4 kilograms that we used day 1, it would have been easy. But now you got 8 kilograms, and that's why it feels as hard as it feels. So interesting enough, it does work in an unintuitive way, I'd say.
Using what you said about giving people more weight over time, I wanted to address something very interesting, and I'm very curious about your point too. I would not mention the practices where it happens. People would know, you would know 100%. But there are certain places you show up there, usually with an issue, and all they tell you is to stop doing something.
We're going to hate on this one, okay? Nice.
Okay? Stop doing it. And it hit me the other day, and especially I want to project what we stand for pretty much, because we're not against that, but we are for something else. And I've been thinking that there is a difference between complete avoidance versus strategic exposure. So you can avoid altogether. And we know what happens. When you avoid any sort of stressors, you're actually getting weaker. Yes, you're not getting some sort of stressors, but that lack of stressor is getting you worse over time. Because once you get exposed to anything again, it's way beyond your tolerance. Versus strategically avoiding things and strategically exposing yourself to other things so you can actually evolve and progress and create some sort of resilience over time. So I wanna get your point on that, because we had some sort of bouncing ideas back and forth. You somehow think a little bit more strongly about this, but yeah, just hit me with it.
Well, it's even very contextual because, for example, I was talking to one of my clients yesterday. He plays football as every other Romanian guy, like twice per week, and he probably got something in his ACL or something there, because you know how most people that can't really don't have the right patterns there, and they repeat the same movement, and they just wear and tears. And he feels something in his knee right now. And I told him that, okay, I can literally use my superpowers and tell you what the doctor's gonna tell you. And like, let's even bet on this. I'm willing to bet money on this. Like, you'll go there. He's gonna tell you, okay, go do a X-ray or something like that. He's not gonna test you. Get the X-ray. You're gonna get him back the X-ray. He's gonna look smart, and he's gonna be like, you got, I don't know what tendonitis. Okay. Maybe he'll make you move to see if something hurts. Maybe it's gonna hurt, maybe not. It's very contextual. And then he's gonna be like, yeah, you should probably stop, take this anti-inflammatory shit, and get some cream. And also for the next 2 months, you should probably stop playing football. Also, you need to pay like 500 lei for the whole consultation because I was very smart with you. That could have been my mom telling me, it hurts, stay home. Like, exactly the same thing. What you told previously was the fact that, okay, it's one thing to just, X happened, let's just put ourselves in a jar and not do anything until X goes away. And it's a completely other thing to, X happened, something causes a discomfort, now let's construct a strategy to navigate that discomfort, and maybe, yes, you will feel it for the foreseeable future, but let's make it in a way that you can actually enjoy your life, you don't have to give up on anything, and you can actually enjoy the things that you previously enjoyed. Because for most people, if we are taking the professional athletes out of this, it's just about the enjoyment of going out and playing football with the friends. And if they don't go for 2 months, you probably just discard the only activity that they do for their physical fitness. And that's not the right call, if you ask me. So that's how I see it. It's like, it's basically a model. And you know how it is, how it goes. I forgot who said this, like, all models are wrong, but some are useful. Basically, all models that they use are not even useful because they take the enjoyment out of it. So at least keep somehow the enjoyment, like give them something, because the solution that they come to, it's not an actual solution. It's just avoidance of the problem. It's like you got an F or a nota 2 in school, and you're like, just don't go to geography because you got an F there. No, you need to learn better, take an A, solve that.
Yeah. And again, I really don't want us to come across as bashing the whole system. Like, we really appreciate the presence of practitioners, doctors. I was fortunate enough to do enough damage to my body to get exposed to different doctors and so on. And I've seen the good ones, and I've seen very few good ones. And when you find one, just stick with them. There are some that have outdated models, which is different. What I want to mention too is the patient or the person visiting the doctor, they also need to express themselves properly and tell the practitioner or the doctor what they care about. If you just show up and say, this hurts and I want to get rid of the pain, then the doctor will treat you accordingly. They will just put you in a jar. However, when you tell them, this is my lifestyle, I care about this, I want to be able to be active, I want to play with my kids, I want to meet with my buddies and play football, let's figure something out together. Then most of the time, the doctor will actually listen. But if you just show up and give no context, I just hurt myself because I'm just another idiot that just didn't play football for 5 years and now I want to compete like I was 21 years old, then the doctor will treat you accordingly. So I'm not only blaming one side, actually both sides need to take responsibility for it. And if they communicate enough, I think usually probably you can find a very good collaboration between them.
Yeah, you put it because maybe the way that I put it was a bit more aggressive, so to say, and it's just because I don't like the way that things go. But you actually brought out something very important, the fact that the patient himself also needs to be quite aware about his or her position, so to say, in the whole equation.
Yeah, and then don't show up at a doctor and tell them, I read on a form on a website that this is what I have. This is like the biggest insult for pretty much any practitioner. You want to be informed. You want to show that you are informed through your questions. Okay? The doctor will say X, you just follow with a question. Try to be more explorative. Trust me, most people are passionate usually about what they do and they study it for freaking long time, like 10 plus years old. So if they find someone curious enough about what's going on, they will give you the time. They will stay another 10, 15 minutes with you talking about it. You know, if you explain them, this is what I did when I was younger. I want to find this new balance in my life. You know, people will listen. Just don't show up there, give them a file and just listen to them. They will treat you like just a normal file.
People in general need to get a bit more or a bit less legume, so to say, because it goes from like legume from a legume, you know, because usually everybody going from the patient to even the doctors, and it's just a problem in the society. It doesn't go towards somebody. If you think of yourself, again, like a conversation with one of my clients, like I could never do that because of my spine. And she was talking about barbell back squat, and she's actually goblet squatting like 15 kilos or something like that. And if you go to just the barbell, that's 20 kilos on your back, which is probably feel as light as the 15 kilograms in your arms here. So it's quite there, and just people making assumptions based on a belief that could or could not be real, but it somehow got in there, and I'm fragile and I can't do that and my knees will hurt, and if I do this movement that will hurt, and it just goes in a very, very long trajectory towards you basically having a very low quality life, not actually enjoying anything that's there to enjoy, because I can't really say or right now, but I'm trying to think. Most things that really feel good, either emotionally, either physically, imply some kind of physical activity. Like you need to do something. You can't just, unless you're Buddha or something and you can be the happiest by sitting in a chair, probably most people need to move or to actually do something. And yeah, if you can't, that's not cool.
For most people, just the first steps are very important. Going from not doing to doing something, and going from day 1 to day 2, you know, those are very, very, very important. Like, I cannot mention how important it is. If you go from not exercising or moving to deciding to do so, that takes so much energy to just go from not doing to doing something. And then when you show up, you're actually trying to find a reason why not to show up again, you know? So those transition moments, like very, very important. Like once you go through day 1 or not doing to doing, going from 0 to 1, that can make a whole difference. And we see it all the time. Someone never exercised for like 20 plus years and now they show up for the first time. And I would like to mention something that I see this practice and I actually don't like it. Trainers that use exercises or put people in such position that they feel ashamed, they feel incapable. They put them in the most, like, you probably need to be training for a year plus to be able to master skill-wise and strength-wise that exercise. Let's say person that never squatted in anything, then you put a barbell on them, just okay, squat, and they're all wobbly and they feel weak. The barbell is empty, it's going all over the place. No, I need to put you in a position that you feel capable. I give you some weight in front of you, sticks, anything. I need to show you that you can do something. When I would like to emphasize this a lot, at least this is what we would like to do with every freaking location, is that when someone shows up, we're not telling them what they cannot do. We all focus mainly on what you can do. If you can do the minimum, once you start with the minimum, you can actually work your way into doing a lot of things, which is probably your max eventually. So we just look at a person. We're not seeing a vulnerable, incapable individual. He's like, okay, let's work out what you can do and build from there. It's never, you can do that. I'm sorry. I mean, I know if you cannot squat, then you cannot exercise. If you cannot do push-ups with your own body weight, that means you cannot exercise, that you're too weak. No. Empower people, because we all have thresholds and we start at different points. Let's meet the person where they are, and you will be surprised with what they can do.
Yep, you and the trainer too, because it's literally, you mentioned it, meeting the person where he or she is. I think that's, if you can teach somebody something in a PT course, is meet the person where he or she is, and in all this you're gonna get regressions, progressions, how to move, but you can't just, because you did 10 years of kickboxing and you're the hardest guy in the gym, you can't just get a lady that never did anything in her life and she's 40 and you go towards her the same way that your coach went toward you. It's not gonna work.
Yes,
for anybody.
Trust me, I'm not talking out of empty thing. You saw me working with a person with a disability before, and when you see that person walk, you would say, "I don't know how this individual can do anything." And then that same person ends up hex bar deadlifting almost double their own body weight. I'm sorry, I did not put him to hex bar deadlift for the first time. If he can walk, we'll load your walk. Okay. If you can crawl, I'll let you crawl and load it or find something. And then I'll put you on your feet and then I'll put you on your hands. We'll find something. Once you understand you can do something, kind of try to it's human nature to wonder what you can do. It's an instinct, it's like, if I can do this, what else can I do? Versus if I can't do this, you will never wonder what you can do.
Yeah.
It's natural. It's normal. So don't be surprised if you embarrass an individual, if they are overweight, put them to jump. Really?
And it's really enjoyable from my lens to actually do the things that you never thought yourself capable to do. Like even with the last run that I did, the 21K, it wasn't a fact of me not being physically fit. It was just my knee that would not actually let me. And probably the fact that I somehow pulled it off and I did it, it was so intrinsically enjoyable for me. And it was the fact that I almost gave up towards the final days before the run, because I tested it didn't feel any better. And then I was like, okay, let's go all in. Let's do everything that I can do to make sure. And it actually worked. Like, okay, it wasn't as smooth as it could have been, but it worked. And even though maybe the time wasn't what I wanted and the level of effort that I applied wasn't that I wanted, just the fact that I went from point A and I finished in point B, it was probably the most enjoyable run and one of the most enjoyable goals that I physically achieved in the last few months. And that's literally what you said and what I would encourage people to do, to actually go and try the thing that maybe scares you or something that you feel that it's not possible. Because usually with the right strategy, everything is possible. So just believe in yourself.
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but even I think in psychology, there is this concept of exposure. Like, yes, we are talking about people lifting weight and you running, but it can be as pretty much devastating as being so anxious that you cannot leave home. Like some people cannot leave their own home, and it can be just opening the door and just go out or buy your own groceries or just go for a walk. It doesn't have to be this grandiose goal, touring the world or doing something extreme. It can be as small as just leaving your own place or talking to a stranger or doing anything minor or just cooking your own food. Like, it's not, I can look at you and like, okay, so what was your time? Time is irrelevant. How long it took you to finish the race doesn't mean anything. But knowing what you went through is like, I'm not a runner, but I managed to run a marathon or half a marathon or whatever. The time doesn't mean anything. What means something is what you went through, what you proved to yourself. That's pretty much it. Don't want to ramble about it and sound like a motivational guy, but it really matters what you can prove to yourself.
And it's literally like going towards another book, the one, how was it called? Impossible. No, the formula of impossible or something. I think I wrote it down. The art of impossible, actually. And he put it in a very interesting way, the fact that impossible is actually a biochemical equation or something like that.
Okay.
Because literally, if you frame everything together and you get the fact that we as a species actually get our dopamine also from setting a goal a bit higher than the last one that we achieved, and that's a bit out of reach but not too much, and you actually do it, and then it builds, momentum. The fact that you go towards the thing that gives you a bit of fear also gives you all the good, so to say, feelings, and all those things that are actually cliche, because go towards what you're afraid of, and I don't know, literally it doesn't come to mind now, but all the cliche stuff can actually, and was somehow explained in the book, that okay, this actually raises this hormone, this actually raises that one, and you can actually get your brain in the state in which it constantly looks for the next good thing to do, and it's just a very general momentum that you build mentally to do great stuff, and it literally works. You work from nothing, and from nothing you can actually go towards doing world record stuff, because that's how it usually goes. It's just people that ski for 20 years and then they get so good, and they do it every day, and everything is so automated that they just, a record that hasn't been broken in 50 years, they just do it, and then the next day they break it again and again and again until the loop closes again. And it's very eye-opening, so to say.
Yeah. What else you got?
I also, I forgot, I didn't write it down, but I remembered it right now when we're talking about it. It was also during the course, and Shallow actually mentioned it, and it was something about getting injured. And I forgot, it has a name, and it's a very interesting thing. I don't think I can find it right now. The idea was that it has a name, but I am going to tell you after that. The idea was that, for example, you got a graph, and let's say that if you have a volume that you usually work on, and that applies to athletes, that applies to basically anybody, and there was a threshold that if you do way too much, of course, you can get injured, but then if you do way too less, you can also get injured.
It's a ratio, right?
Yeah, it's a ratio, and you can actually calculate in between.
Sort of a fitness to rest ratio or something. It's how much volume you have accumulated below your actual adaptation.
Yeah, so and it works well also for athletes, I think.
Yes.
And it was a very interesting idea, actually, because it shows that, as we've talked before, doing less could actually hurt you more than doing more or doing the same amount of activity that you did.
Yes, I think I might be able to give an example. Let's say weights or running, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I would use running, maybe more people run. Let's say your weekly volume of running, it's 20 minutes every day, right? Or let's double that, 60 minutes every day for 5 months. The following week, you halved your volume, okay? So you went from running 60 minutes every day for a week to 30 minutes every day for a week. If you project for next week and double your volume again, you might get injured. Okay, because you took your volume from being here, you lowered it, and now you want to resume where you were because your fitness probably lowered a little bit. So usually with athletes, when they take a break, they want to come back as if nothing happened without going through a process of being at least as fit or stronger or fitter. Because you've saw it so many times, a lot of athletes, and we're talking athletes because they have everything at their disposal to perform at their best. They get injured, they rest, they come back, they get injured again. They have all the doctors, everyone at their disposal. If you don't manage your return to activity, and I'm saying activity, which means any activity from high to low to high again, that transition phase can be a dangerous phase. I think that's what it is, pretty much.
And it's also, because even when I was in Slovenia at the seminar, it was interesting because somebody was actually new or he was interested in getting to be a strength and conditioning coach at teams like Manchester United, like big league. And the average salary is literally was very small, not very small. Okay, it was doable, but when you even compare it to what can you do as a personal trainer or something like on your own, it was nothing, literally nothing. And then the interesting part actually appears when people look on the Instagram of, I don't know, Real Madrid, and they see the guy doing something on the TRX, and they're like, that's the thing, and literally bossable stuff on the TRX, and everybody's like next gen stuff, and they 2024 using a bossable on the TRX, and people actually buy it because it comes from a big team, from somebody with authority, somebody that should actually know what they're doing, but they're not. And it's not saying that we do, but it just the perspective a lot of times again is wrong, and just because it comes from somebody that should know what they're talking about doesn't mean that they actually do.
Yeah. I think sometimes, most of the time, people should have a set of principles they stand for. And I understand, we probably never worked with the highest level athletes, but if you manage to solidify principles, if you encounter a superstar and they're like, I don't want to do this thing, I just want to do TRX. This is what I did with my previous coach. I just want to keep on doing it because training doesn't translate to anything in my own sport. You might agree, but you have certain values that you need to stand by, right? And if that person doesn't respect them, maybe you shouldn't engage in it. I know it's very hard because it comes with cloud, it comes with association, associated with a certain athletes and give you more credibility and so on. But you might be we're not sitting here hating on people that actually work with stars. We'd like to do the same thing, but you might be surprised by how much crap is present in places in which we think that's like crème de la crème of things.
High tier quality, yes. Yeah. Because they're the famous guys, they should know what they're like. They'll probably get the best coach, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And most times they won't, because they just went with the cousin of somebody's. Literally, I think this is what happens. Somebody has a cousin from I don't know where, and he liked the gym in the 9th grade. And I'm a singer, and I don't want to go to a big gym because everybody's gonna, hey, it's that singer. And it's like, yeah, I know that guy that's a friend and he had that cousin, like, and he has that small thing where he can train me, and you go train him and he likes his social media goes off and everybody's like, yeah, it's X and X and he's training, and he literally doesn't know what he's talking about and he's just going with the wave. Yeah. Other than that, we actually started, and hopefully we're keeping with it, like doing sauna weekly. And it's interesting because while we're sitting in the sauna, you can actually see a lot of people that come in and go out. Hopefully, most of the times we hope that nobody actually comes in and goes out, but it does happen. And it's really interesting, like the way that people treat the sauna, like. And I'd literally like we will not do this, but it would be an interesting experiment. Like somebody comes in the sauna and like literally ask them, like, why did you come here? Like, what's your purpose with the next 20 minutes in the sauna? Like, why did you come here? Because most people, I think, that don't really have a plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna hit the gym and then I'm gonna go to the sauna because what? Like, what's to sweat, to lose some kilos? Like, what was the whole? What do you think?
Are you asking me what I think, or you're asking me to predict what people?
What do you think that other people are gonna say? And after that, let's say why we do it.
Why people do sauna? I would say the first candidate would be sensation. The sensation of a sauna is undeniable because let's face it, we associate sweat with losing weight. Okay. Losing weight or looking like an athlete, because, athletes go to sauna usually to suffer and cut weight and maybe get strokes over time, but that's a topic for another conversation. But yeah, the sensation, the feeling of sweat is undeniable. And I hate to sometimes break it down that sweating in sauna is not necessarily or remotely linked to losing weight. It is not. The only thing that I like about people going to the sauna is that you're getting the benefits that you're not thinking about.
Like,
you might going there to get exposed to whatever, like
bacteria.
So sometimes you are doing something for the wrong reason, but you end up getting some benefits, if it makes any sense. Okay.
Probably in the fitness industry happens every minute.
Yes. Like, let's say, let's use this example. You're eating this very expensive dish composed of the best ingredients ever. You may be doing it to show off on social media, to show people that you can go there, get a reservation. So I'm not saying this is the wrong reasons, but at the end of the day, you manage to eat a healthy meal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to be overly positive about it, but you might think you're getting another outcome when in reality you're getting a good outcome, which is we have something called heat shock proteins linked to mitochondria. Mitochondria becomes extremely inefficient in making energy. You would say, why is that a good thing? Physiologically, through studies, it appears to be a good thing. When you tax your mitochondria in a way, you create this mitochondria biogenesis, if I'm not butchering the word, which means making more mitochondria or mitochondria being more efficient, being exposed to stress because the body likes that to a degree. And you're getting some benefits, which is usually some improved cardiovascular capability, blood flow, growth hormone release, recovery. Then they have these observational studies on lowering all-cause mortality. So why not? I'm happy for people to do something for the wrong reason and end up getting something good. So I'm fine with that.
Unless you go in your underwear in the sauna, like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, you know what? We should somehow figure out a way to, because people don't know, right? They show up there. Of course, for us might be obvious.
It's the 21st century. Like, do you go in a pool with no, you get the, how do you call them? The swimming shorts on. Yeah. Even if you don't really know what to wear. And that's what, it doesn't bother me, but every time I'm like, did you not think of coming to the sauna? Like, why didn't you grab an extra pair of shorts or something? Like, don't people plan stuff in their head? Like,
you might be surprised, actually. How many person do you think walk in the street? They have no intention of, let's say, eating an ice cream or getting some eclair or something. And then they walk by, they look at it, it's like, you know what? I just gotta wait in line and get some. I think people trade stuff the same way in many instances.
Probably,
you know.
Why do we do sauna? Why did you do actually first? Because you did it and I just joined.
Yeah. Oh, why did you join?
Why did I join?
Yeah.
Because I always liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So are you into it for what? For the sensation, for the benefits, or for me?
I know. This can be interpreted wrong. Ralo is here. Sky is a married man. We are good. So, I always liked it, first of all, because I somehow got to just like the sensation, but not just of the sauna, of the hot to cold exposure repeatedly. And also, I was aware of the benefits, and I was like, why not, if I also like it? And it's also a very, unless there are like 5 more dudes in their underwear there, it's a very intimate place, so to say. Like, it's actually quiet. Nobody's gonna do anything that annoys you. You can actually sit there and think maybe, or like talk to somebody, as we do. So I like places where there are not a lot of people and you can actually also get something efficient out of the whole process.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of explained earlier the
mechanism,
mitochondria thing and so on. I don't want to lose people with the science and so on. They can just run it back. But as a man activity, it's extremely appealing. You know, like you sit down with your friend or with your buddies, hopefully. Yeah. And then there is no phone. It's such a primitive thing to do. I don't know how to explain it, but heat, sweat, you and your friend, and then sometimes you're not talking at all, and then an idea pops in, and then maybe you would like to get something out of your chest and just bounce back and forth, and then you just relax, then go shower. It's like, it's a shock, the heat itself, but also a shock as a person. I don't want to get overly philosophical about it, but sometimes I'm afraid of recommending something. So, because you'd like to have less people at the sauna.
It's gonna be like with running, yeah. Like everybody's now a runner and a hybrid athlete, and I will not run anymore because everybody's running. I don't want to.
Yeah. And especially some people are extremely sensitive to heat. Somebody will just hear about all the benefits, just run into the sun. Maybe not. Maybe start with the hot shower first. Again, progression, right? Applies to everything. Start with the hot shower. Get into the sauna for a minute. See how you feel. Then come back. No problem. You don't have to stay for 15, 20 minutes the first time. Just take your time.
Yeah, and it's actually this, again, probably wrong perception. I was even talking to somebody that like sprained the ankle, and I was explaining how, okay, you like running, cool, and you want to run. Maybe I wouldn't recommend necessarily running for somebody that actually had like an ankle problem more times, but okay, you want to do this. Let's do it very, 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 very low exposure. Like, let's start with 1 kilometer. I know that you can do more. You know that you can do more. I know that it feels like you're not working at all. But let's start with 1 kilometer per week. And we're going to bump it up with like 10% per week if everything feels good. And the whole thing is, usually people And that's the ironic, fun, interesting section. People that don't really like physical effort, once you give them like a lower tier effort for them to actually be able to progress on, they're like, I'm not weak, I can do more. And they're like, I know you can do more. Like, just be patient and you're gonna get there. Like, that's the plan, but just be patient. And that's the person that when you'll get him or her to do something else, they're like, no, I can't do that, it's too much for me. And then you get them to do something lighter and they're like, that's too light. And it repeats itself in a vicious circle.
Yeah. Can I summarize pretty much training or exercise very briefly? And like, what's the whole point? Like, why people hire trainers and athletes hire trainers? Why is it a thing? Beside the obvious that accountability, you have somebody waiting for you there, they're giving you advice as how to do things. That's the obvious. But physiologically, this is what you can do, okay? You don't start here. You start here. And then you progress. And then you progress. You never reach this. But by progressing in here, this is increasing by itself. That's what adaptation is. Exposure to something that makes you tolerate more. You never reach that more because that's when problems arise. You keep on adding here. By adding here, pretty much, you're just increasing the other one. You're adding here, you're increasing the other one. You never reach that, okay? But you're progressing, but you're not going outside of your limits, not even in your limits, because nobody knows your limits. You don't know your limits. But you can work here. By working here, you're actually increasing your bar even higher as you're doing that. So that's physiologically what we are trying to do. We're exposing you to less than what you can extremely accomplish by doing that strategically. You're actually increasing what you can do when you have to express all that thing that you actually accumulated over time.
Very well put. Yeah, it's just literally not. It's literally every time you hit the limit, you actually limit yourself from actually getting the limit a bit higher. And again, you wanna go here, it's gonna stay here.
Yep.
You go lower, it goes higher, and it's again counterintuitive.
Exactly. So you're actually making a good point. So when a client complains, I can do more, and I understand you can do more. However, if we start at what you can do, again, this is not increasing anymore. You can, or it increases, but slightly. So by doing the most you can do every time, you're limiting how much you can progress. Counterintuitive, but very logical.
Are you hyped up to work out anymore? I was talking to Alina about this.
For me, it's slightly different.
Yeah.
You know the context and everything, but I do. Yes, my interest has changed, but as it changes, you actually try to explore or understand exercise differently. It's like the more you do it, the longer you do it. Now it's been almost 15 years. Yeah. You try to find, and you will go through it, you will see. You try to find a different meaning for exercise. Initially, maybe progress is the one that you are chasing the most. Then maybe variability. And then maybe just maintaining what you have accumulated and then pursuing other things. Because being an athlete for an athlete's sake is different than being a practitioner. Because you have to distribute your time differently. And you have to put yourself in different shoes so you can help other people and understand what they can do, what they cannot do. You know. So am I still excited about training? My wins are different, but obviously I don't need to be excited anymore. It became who I am pretty much. You heard it. Even Arnold said it multiple times. Someone asked him, like, why do you keep working out? He's like, do you still eat every day? He's like, yeah. It's like, why you're not wondering if you should eat today or not, or stop eating altogether. It becomes part of who you are, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because usually, again, the thing that people assume is that working out is gonna be like very okay, I got this training, I got this session that in 2 hours, and then like, yeah, let's go, and I'm hyped up and I'm looking towards it. And not that I am not, because I can see the benefits, I want to go towards it, I like the physical effort in the contrast of something that I did before that, maybe like working on my laptop or just walking around or something like that. But I honestly haven't been like hyped up to go to work out in a while. And it's probably normal, because it's not like we're discovering new things every day anymore. We know that we're not going to PR every day. And it's just, I work out, I know that I'm going to feel better after that. I know that it's going to help me be a better version of myself during that day, during the following days, and etc. But it's just something that I think people should really think about and understand the fact that, well, yeah, for the first 1 to 2 to 3 years, working out is going to be hyped. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, yes, it's so fun. But after that, it's going to be like very, very like, okay, another session, and another session, and another session. And does it really matter in the session? Probably not, but it matters in the long run. And if it doesn't matter if you maybe, how should I put it? It doesn't matter as much individually, but if you stop doing it at all, then you're gonna feel it big time. So
that's the key. That's the key. It's not about how excited you are about doing a thing, but try subtract it from your life. Try eliminating it for a while, and then you will actually feel the effect. And I understand we as creatures pursue these excitement things. Not necessarily. A lot of stuff are present in your life, not to make you excited about life, but actually they give you meaning. And meaning and excitement are not the same thing. It's like, why do you work every day? Why do you do certain things? You do stuff that probably you don't like, but try not doing them, even though you don't like them, and you'll feel even worse. So things take different shapes. And then once you subtract the thing, you actually realize how important it is.
I actually got recently to look at it through a different lens, especially because, again, as we all need, I just observe it on my individual persona, the way that I need to change who I am, so to say, because I went from like, I don't know, like just a personal trainer, somebody that needs to think about more things and just to manage more things. And literally, the things that give me the most pleasure and quality of life, so to say, are the fact that I can, and I'm trying to make a habit out of it, to start my day with some education. Either listen to it, either read it. And then, let's say, go for a coffee, but walk. And walking is, I'm underlining it and bolding it and all the things, like walking there, like for a kilometer or something. And just walking towards the coffee place, getting the coffee, and walking back, and maybe listening to something like in between. And then just, again, doing the same session that I'm not hyped about, but doing it because after that, I know that I'm gonna feel as not even excited, but calm as I felt before that, like from the moment that I woke up. And just probably, I just realized it now, the goal is not to get excited about stuff. The goal is just to, if you wake up in a certain good state, and it's just good, it's not exciting, it's not hyped, it's just good, you feel okay, you don't feel any kind of discomfort, and just to keep it throughout the day. Because usually what happens, it gets blocked by different stressors. And usually if we are a bit aware of our thoughts, and we can also strategically place movement and food through the day, we can actually make sure that we're gonna get that okay feeling for the whole 24 hours and actually make a good life, probably. Like that would be the end goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been shown that one of the metrics for some sort of life satisfaction is how much control you have over your day and autonomy at your work. So, for example, you have people that need to actually ask for permission to do certain things. Just by having more autonomy over your day can incrementally change your day. Not even your day, your pretty much your life. And also commuting. People that actually commute less tend to feel much better. So compare a person that could walk to work versus stuck in traffic for 2 hours, completely different. I understand not everyone has the capability or the luxury, or maybe they're going through it right now and eventually they will transition. But these are things that are very simple, yet complicated in a way that you can somehow, I hate the word hacking, but you can hack your way through feeling way better by having control over your day. And it's not about excitement. It's rather than removing pretty much stressors.
Yep. Removing and just being able to navigate them.
Yeah.
Talking about stressors, we should we need, and I need actually, hopefully you need to get started with the second gym. And there was that book with the super thinking with thinking models, and one of them was everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm way calmer than I would have expected me to be. Okay. But it's like everything that should have gone smoothly, it's like nope. And because the first thing is a nope, now the second thing is a nope, and now the first thing is a nope, and now the shipment is delayed, and now that the guys that were supposed to come work there can't because the thing was delayed, and now they got something else to do. And they're like, But also my mantra, I don't know if that's a good word, but a mantra is something that you believe in.
Okay, yeah. Mantra, motto, whatever you want.
Is more money. No, yeah, a good attitude, and more money can solve anything.
Okay, say it again. Maybe they missed it.
So, how is it? Yeah, a good attitude and more money can solve anything. So, literally, it will work out every time. But yeah, the thing is that the gym should... Initially, my plan was, okay, let's end of April. And we're on the 17th of May. And we're still... Newsflash, we could change locations, so it's not going to be the location that initially was on paper. Because people and because stuff. But it's not like there are no more locations in the area. So that hopefully gets solved quickly. And it's going to be more similar to the actual location then, because it's a bit more white and stuff and a bit more illuminated, if that's a word.
I'll make sure it ends up dark. But,
okay,
just move on.
And do you got anything to add on here?
Yes. I think this is one of the most important sections in this podcast, because when people go through, I won't say misfortune, but obstacles, they either say something before and then they just transition to, okay, this is what happened afterwards, but this is an issue during.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like we are leaving the obstacle pretty much. So there is no pretending that things are okay or whatever. When you set yourself to do anything, there are stuff you can control, stuff that you can't. All we care about are the stuff that we cannot control, and we missed all the stuff. However, and I think this is very important, like having people around you that kind of like, this probably sucks, but we will figure it out, right? That's probably the attitude part. Also, who you surround yourself with matters in a way, because some people will make more problems of the problem and they keep on saying, okay, it's somebody else's mistakes. Like, own it. This is something I cannot do anything about, but I'm willing to figure out a solution. I'm not stiff about my opinions. I'm not fixating on that thing and I'm willing to go all the way and overpay and do no, you have to have a concept, a goal, a framework, and feel free to just transition whenever you can. Transition is on you, right? Even though it's like a blog. Okay, if there's a blog, I just open another one. Easier said than done. Possible. So we'll keep people updated about this. That's probably the negative part. The positive part is, once it's all set, what are we promising people? What should they expect? What are we planning on making out of this thing? How are we injecting ourselves in this place? And
low key, our plan with Upcult is for it to actually become, I'd say, the best personal training facility that you have got, at least in Romania, because it can be, and I'd say it even is now, but we just need more exposure and more experience. And it's gonna go to cover all areas that imply health, so to say. So we're gonna cover recovery with like the chiro part, and it's gonna be more specialized in the Pantelimon location. And then we're also gonna how do you call it? We're gonna go into nutrition with Mr. Ska here, with the Mr. Nutrition. You also have this is the polo that you wore when we filmed the things for the nutrition seminar.
Yep.
Something popped, yeah. So that's the thing, to just deliver the best possible product within the certain framework, and to actually have people experience something wholesome, so to say, and something that's actually thought through for them, not just like, okay, we're also gonna do personal training because we have a gym. No, like the gym is actually designed to do that, and it's designed to do everything that you can at your best, starting from the lowest tier possible. Like as Ska said, you could crawl, and you could also like, you can squat a lot and deadlift a lot. You can also do something there. So it's gonna be very, very well thought out, and it is already.
Yeah, I think if I had to put it in the fewest words possible, is that it might not be perfect in the beginning, like anything else, but one thing is sure, we care. If you're there, we care. Even if you're not there, we care. As you show up, you become part of our lives pretty much, and we are a reflection of you. If you make it, we feel like we make it. If you didn't, we feel the same way. We want to make sure you do. That pretty much englobes what we stand for. Am I on point?
You certainly are. And that's about it, basically. Like the thing is that for me, even now, it's hard to somehow see myself doing what I do at the level that I want to get it in a commercial place, so to say, because it's a very like first world problem, but the noise, the distractions, everything, and you can't see it until you get exposed to the opposite thing, the thing in which like you go and your problem gets somehow, how do you call it, the problem gets worked on straight away. It's not like, okay, we're gonna do everything and try no, this is your problem, okay, we're gonna go straight towards it.
Yeah.
There are gonna be no more distractions. There is not gonna be any kind of like, yeah, maybe some Zumba, maybe some, no, look, like this is the stuff that works. You came here, like if you just follow blindly what we tell you to do, and you at least try a bit, like at least a 10% thing, you're gonna see results. It's almost impossible not to.
Yeah, and we can run it back to the autonomy thing, because again, yes, you put on the practitioner face to show up. You cannot afford to show that you have a bad day or whatever, but by controlling the environment, you actually make a lot of difference for you and for the people. Because you're not asking for, okay, can I use the machine? I need to change my whole plan because that thing is busy, because somebody else just took that spot. There's none of that. Everything's pretty much pre-planned. You show up there. Whether you make it on time or not, there are possibilities. It's not like if you cannot make it at a certain hour, it's just over. So everything is pretty much designed so people don't miss. They come, they stay, they keep on going. If you change your goal, we have ways to go about it, and that's pretty much it.
And it's also creating a hub or an environment for the people that I would have said previously that do it well, but I think that not do it well. They end up doing it well if they come and join us. But for the people that have the right values and the work ethic to do it, because if those things are there, we can teach you, not that we're like somehow supreme to everybody else, but we can teach our approach to anybody else. And again, our approach is not our approach, it's just multiple, that through our experience until now worked. And we can teach that to everybody, but that everybody just needs to be, again, right values and right work ethic, so that they can actually join, so to say, the cult in more of a, not of a client, so to say, but part of the people that actually serve the other people.
Yeah.
The rambling. Because for me, I'm literally trying to probably somehow build an environment that would have been very helpful to myself like 5 years ago, when I just entered the whole scene. And yeah, you could go online and search for stuff, and you can go work in a commercial gym and you don't know what to do. And maybe you meet Ska and he tells you stuff and you get enlightened, but maybe you don't meet a Ska. And all those things are very out of our control. But then if you have as I don't know, like, you know that you want to be a good lawyer, you go to Universitatea București. And you know that anything happens if you apply yourself, and if you do 100% what they tell you to do, you're gonna be at least there. After that, like, okay, there are risks, all that kind of stuff, but you're gonna be prepared. That's what I would like Upcult to be like. If you as a professional want to be better, you want to be better at what you do, you want to work with more people, you want to actually be able to help people, and you know that that's your direction and you're ready to work and actually have the right values for it, you know, you come here, you know you're gonna get it. Like, no questions asked.
Yeah. My approval. I think there is a difference between starting something for the sake of doing it versus encountering issues and then trying to fix them through a product or a space, or, you know, let's say, imagine if you just open another mall or open another school or open another gym. There is a difference between that and you going through the whole thing, seeing holes, seeing things that could have done better, more, less, subtract, and then you create your own thing. That's pretty much where we want it to be. It's like we somehow, I won't say lost time, because we learned through every experience, whether it's good or bad, and we're trying to package it in such ways that, you know what, instead of going through this whole thing that takes you, I don't know, probably 3, 4, 5 years, this is what we learned throughout the way. If you want to cut the time and you care about what you do, because there are the people that care and people that don't care. If you are it for the right reason, then that's the place for you to be. You know.
Very well put, yeah. It's literally...
And we are still learning. We're learning from each other. We're learning from the people we work with. We're learning from people that actually get started, you know, because even an ambitious, hungry, ignorant person can teach you something, you know. So there is no, like, you will ask questions, we'll ask you questions back. It's like an ever-ending pursuit of whatever it is.
Yeah. So we'll keep you updated. Hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be at least 2 weeks. Maybe we're going to have, like, we'll be pretty sure with everything and the direction that it should roll into. And just to slowly wrapping it up, I wrote here that I'm lucky. And that's, so to say, because I was thinking of it, and like 5 years ago, if you would have told me that I would get to actually interact professionally, so to say, with people like you, with people like Bogdan Petrican, with, like, I have pictures with Jordan Shallow, I train with Pat Davidson, and it's just literally, when you put it around like that, I train with Killian, like, he makes my programming and all that kind of stuff. All those things are not that would have been out of my reach, but again, like, the probability of them happening in this certain in this certain direction, and also in this time frame, and the fact that they were possible are really, really, I'm just grateful for it. And I'm really like, even for yourself, like the fact that it all started with us chatting in the gym and actually enjoying those chats, at least I did. For me, it was, a ramp, like, when the car goes and it jumps on something, a ramp towards like, okay, like more education, let's get bulletproof towards, like, not towards, but in what we think and what we know that works and all that kind of stuff. And this led to other things. And it's just there to actually say that if you apply yourself, you can actually do stuff, and you can actually get to know the people that do it best, and to actually see that they are not some kind of different kind of human being. No, they just apply themselves again and again and again and again and again, and they now teach it, or like they live it, most of the times both of them.
Yeah, I would like to let people on the unseen as well, because yes, some people would say, okay, it's with all flowers and Mary showed up and things will start working. Like, I've seen you having one client on the weekend, you sitting on your laptop in the gym, waiting for one person, working just on the weekend. Like, I've seen all these things. You never freaking complained. You just put your head down, took whatever you've been giving, wanted some more, and you just went after it. And so it's not like you started high, kept on climbing. No, you actually climbed every step, took your time, applied yourself, and it's keep on going. It's not stopping yet.
You also kept going to the gym, like coming to the gym actually. Because when I was at Stay Fit, I said it.
You can beep it.
But only Upcult. And you'd... I don't know why I didn't train. Probably because I trained already that day, but in Pantelimon. And like, you'd come and train, and we'd like sit and talk also, and it was like a 3-hour workout for you. So you made the whole process a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, it feels like very, very far away.
Yeah.
When we actually used to work out at our gyms and like to do our leg days, we probably only did legs and
pretty much it. Yeah.
Arms 3 times or 4 times, and like maybe by mistake something else, but I don't remember any kind of.
But mostly kind of met religiously for a lower body day. Yeah.
Yeah, but it really feels like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it wasn't, or was it? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it happened. We enjoyed it. We still do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to let people on. It wasn't always the easiest thing, You just took whatever you've been giving, never freaking complained, and went after it. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, if you want to add on anything else for the people about you, about our nutrition seminar that should happen.
Okay, I mean, we don't have dates yet, but
we don't have dates about it.
Yeah. You know what? I like. I don't necessarily like structures and so on. I like the craftsmanship.
Okay.
That's why I have people around me that actually put boundaries, so I can actually walk straight. Because otherwise, if you just land me to myself, I just go all over the place, or you don't even see me here. So he keeps me accountable. Ralu keeps me accountable and uncomfortable. But yeah, I think we'll let people know.
I'll do you a dirty one right now.
Go ahead.
Do we do the next one in Cluj? I want it on camera.
Possibly. I mean, I'm for it. I've never visited Cluj. It'd be very interesting. I think the audience there is slightly different, so we need to adjust probably the structure, more of an athlete-based approach. But that should be exciting, yeah.
And also you need to do like a CrossFit workout if you go there.
That's probably my biggest worry.
It's okay. I survived. You'll survive too. You get this. Okay. So we'll probably wrap it up here because we don't want to keep it so long. That was it from me.
Yeah, we haven't done anything technical pretty much.
Yeah.
But maybe next time.
I enjoyed every bit of it. there is also things to be learned from it, which is good. And we also updated the people on things that should happen. We did everything. It's good. We're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
See you in like 3 or 4 episodes, because Sky is the co-host again. You're gonna see him again and again.
Oh yeah.